Welcome to EDH Budget Deck Building. As you can see, this is the whole box that I have here, and these are like mostly fun, friendly, simple decks with extra cards. Competitively speaking, got mono white Brimaz, mono blue. It's my training blue deck. The only one that I could stomach since I was not a natural blue player. Teferi. Skithrix is in the deck, but well, she works. I was testing her out years and years ago, and it's fun to make her work. And just go. Skithrix will always be the number one general, but there are alternatives in each deck. Jhoira is the first general when I did mono red because it was focusing on destroying and burning the world. However, with artifacts being a big thing in 2014, Daretti really changed the game and made it be super fun in a different direction. So instead of burning the world, you just have artifacts for days. And traditional elves, mono green. Azori, Renegade Leader. Other elves do work, but he was the first general. Each deck has an alternative general that you can build around. I want to say Brimaz was probably the trickiest because you could go it a couple different ways. The equipment and aura route, you could go the soldier token route or soldier creature route where you're playing with the cards and all that. There's a lot of ways you can build him, and it's super fun. But for competitive purposes, you generally want to have a little bit more than the general to rely on, so you don't get shut out of the game with too much removal of your general. All right. The rest here, fun, simple, bear hug kind of decks. Chaos hug, mono blue chaos hug, mono black, make a deal with the devil, that sort of thing. I'll focus on all that later. These I'm not exactly trying to get rid of right now, but maybe. So for the most part, with mono white, let me readjust this real quick. Mono white. Lands took me forever to sort because trying to figure out which set they came from and all that is a pain. But there's lands of all different types. Now, since this is from a Theros block, I tried to get some from the Theros from the same area. The first one anyway, because I had so many lands from the first one. All right. So basic planes, draw a card, Rogue's Passage, unblockable, Mirrored Landscape. That's mainly there for triggering a Mary of the Sky Ruin, plus there's an angel. There's some other stuff in the deck that'll work with gaining life, because he works around with. If you're not familiar, Brimaz works around with making tokens off of attacking and blocking, so that's his shtick right there. And you can get a lot of life off of that. Draw power. You didn't really have access to too many lands that allowed you to draw cards, but back then this was one of the earliest ones. Well, one of the ones that didn't break the bank anyway. Draw a card, make soldiers, be able to target stuff you normally couldn't target. Counterspell, possible counterspell, regeneration, artifact enchantment removal. I've got usually roughly about 5 in each deck. Abolish allows you to discard a planes instead of paying the CMC, which is great if you need to play something else instead. Removal from the Vault edition. So some of the stuff is looking pretty good. Return to Dust. Keep your general alive and strong with indestructible. So this was Swords to Plowshare, and then this is the other one, Path to Exile, but it's in Japanese. It's in a different language. Kismet. This has been errated to all other all opponents. I think all opponents, creatures, lands, artifacts, enter tapped. This is not targeting. So fun older card. Token doubler. Make cat tokens. It's like Rule of Law, but it's only for non-creature spells, not creatures. Could backfire, but so far hasn't backfired yet. Artifact removal, Rule of Law, protection from a color of your choice. Red, black, that's pretty good. Pentarch Ward doesn't remove itself, which is an added bonus. So yeah, good stuff. Path of Bravery, gain life and buff your creatures. Creature buffing, protection, only from creatures though. Curse of Exhaustion is Rule of Law, targeting only one player. Diversionary Tactics is great because you can attack or block and then immediately tap your creatures to go tap a potential attacker or blocker, which is pretty cool. Sack your token to regenerate your general. This is a aura protection that you could play at, basically has flash, so you choose a color, it has protection from that. This is also great because it doesn't just simply fall off at the end of turn like some of the other ones. Crown of Awe, protection from black and red. For the enchanted creature, you can sack it to give that creature and all creatures that share a creature type protection from black and red until end of turn. Armored Ascension, creature buffing, so you buff your general and give them flying. Sack a token to exile anything except lands, planeswalkers, battles. So yeah, artifacts, creatures, enchantments. Another removal card. Ideally, Tutor is fun, and it's one of the newer cards that I got, so I haven't been able to play with it for years because it's pretty expensive to get. Board wipe / creature token. It's more of a board wipe than it is a creature token generator. Let me put it that way. Board wipe, Tutor, old artifact removal for 3 mana, so you can hit 2 artifacts. It's pretty solid. Martyr's Cry is a very old board wipe that took, like when I saw it, I was like, huh. So it's generally one-sided, so you wipe your board and draw a whole bunch of cards. All white creatures are exiled from the game. Players must draw 1 card for each white creature they control that is lost in this manner. Another Tutor. Alternative General. Kemba, Ka Regent, makes cat tokens equal to number of equipment owner. Balin, double strike with 2 or more equipment, then you can attach all equipment to him. 2 planeswalkers, one to give you hexproof and the other one to board wipe and make creature tokens, and yeah, she's pretty good. Tutor, Esper Sentinel is new and draw, like Heuristic Study in a sense. So pretty good for drawing. Keep players from interacting with you during your turn. Card recursion, card advantage. Card advantage. As long as you got mana, you can keep drawing when the 1/1s hit the field. Tap down opponent creatures whenever any of your creatures come into play. It's good because it's passive and automatic. Tutor effect. Whenever he attacks, makes 2. So it's a token generator upon attacking. Draw power strictly. So sack a token, draw a card. Mana Rock, Sword of Feast and Famine, which is really good because it helps prevent against removal, prevent against certain blockers that would, with Death Touch. And untapping all lands is additional benefit. Making them discard, yeah, that it sucks when it happens and hits you. Protections, Wolf of Boots, Lightning Greaves, Mana Rock. Explorer Scope is a great way to work with an aggressive deck, so that works well. Because you could potentially ramp. Mana Reducer, Mana Rock. Token dies, you get another potential. Should automatically be like when a cat soldier dies, you get another soldier into the field. But that 1/1 back there is a human soldier, so if it's a cat token, you may not always get certain cards because the cat is, I want to say there's more cats than there are humans. So, yeah. Let me see here. Reveal creature card. Oh, never mind. It shares a creature type with it. Cat soldier, human soldier. Okay, never mind. Scratch that. It should automatically be a hit as soon as this is on the field and equipped. And yeah, it's pretty good. Equipment, buffing, first strike, double strike, non-basic land walk, draw power, or make a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token. Ramp. Very simple, very fun, very easy, very enjoyable. I want to say it's also very quick and efficient. Kind of like black. Black is quick, black is efficient. 11 minutes. All right, 10 minutes for each deck, give or take. Golkargissa. The bigger the creature you're sacrificing, the more zombies you get. She's pretty fun. Lands. Foil, new one, old ones. Promo old land. 2014, Mirrodin. Return Ravnica. Full art. So, I like getting different lands. Promo is cool, but seeing the different lands going all the way back to the 90s is pretty cool. Howltooth Hollow. So the secondary part of this deck is about like discarding, getting cards out of people's hands. So like Howltooth Hollow has triggered a couple times for me and it's been fun. Generally, it's been worth it. Cabal Stronghold has been worth it. This card, Cabal Coffers is just a proxy because the real one, and I can only afford one. Excuse me. It was expensive then. I don't know what the price is now. I'd have to take a look, but like getting multiple Cabal Coffers is just not something I could do. So this one, treat it like a basic swamp, really. If you like the artwork, go for it, keep it. Should be basic swamp behind it anyway. Yeah, basic swamp. But yeah, Cabal Coffers, so much better than Cabal Stronghold, but Cabal Stronghold is still solid. Got a lot of basics in here. Castle Lothwain for draw power. Works really well. Land destruction, something that would keep your general, like a Mystic Maze, something that messes with your general from attacking. Creature recursion. Urberg is useful for a couple of things. Generally speaking, it would work well with mana doublers. There's a couple over here somewhere. The most traditional one would be, and I'm blanking on its name, Bubbling Muck. Until end of turn, whenever a player taps the swamp for mana, it produces an additional black. That works pretty well. Where are you? Cryptcast is the other one. Whenever you tap a swamp for mana, add 1 black to your mana pool. And it has extort, so it's pretty good. Okay, so moving back here. Creature removal. Be able to make your opponent's creatures lose Hexproof and Shroud. Can't gain it for the rest of the turn. Spawning pool, emergency creature to block or to attack. Land ramp. Generally speaking, since black is terrible with land ramping. Bojuka Bog is graveyard removal. Draw power, Dark Prophecy, Painful Quandary. Hey, pay with life. Your opponents will have to pay with life or discard. possible instant speed reanimation, and if you do that, you sacrifice this at the end of turn, or you just simply play it regularly and keep the creature. Necromancy is a very strong aura. It's a very fun aura, but, well, you generally want to keep the creature around. So the real general of the deck is Skithiryx. Flying, infect, possible haste, possible regeneration, and it's a 4/4, so it's not very strong. Get it up to a 5. You're possibly looking at maybe killing someone in 2 turns if you can buff it up even more. Still scary. You hit someone for 12 infect, boom, they're dead. There's no proliferation in the deck at all, so there's newer cards out there that will proliferate in black, so that's something to consider as well. There's a sword that will proliferate. Protection from white, protection from black. When the equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you can put a +1/+1 on any target creature you control and then proliferate. I think that's what it does. Pretty solid. Erebos, fun general, hard to remove, draw power on a stick, and hey, your opponents can't gain life, so that could shut off some decks as well. This is good for multiplayer. Hey, would you like to search your library? Cool. Lose 10, sack creature. Bam. They will not want to do that when he's on the field. Okay, I'm blanking on his name, but he's something Overlord. Something Overlord, Exalted. So it's a 5/5 flyer, Exalted. Whenever Overlord attacks, defending player sacrifices a creature. I think it's a creature with the highest toughness or something like that. But anyway, when he buffs, when he swings by himself, he makes a defending player sacrifice a creature, and he could possibly hit for 6 damage. He's pretty good. He's a legendary demon, 13th edition. So Grismax, Grizz something. He's pretty strong and very, very offensive. Very simple. Ob-Nixilis of the Black Oath is another good multiplayer-based deck, but it's more of a drain and a bleed card and a demon creature token generator. The emblem is nice if you can get there, but, well, you can't always get there. Creature removal and draw a card. So, not much more to say about Ob-Nixilis Reunited. Very solid, very stable, not very expensive. Draw, Dark Prophecy, draw power. Painful Quandary, discard, lose life. I've already went over some of the stuff. Oppression. Whenever a player plays a spell, that player discards a card from his or her hand. It's more of like a triggered ability whenever anyone casts a spell. Trigger, lose, discard a card. So it's one of those things where if you have no cards in hand, you don't worry about it. This strips cards from other people and it will make you think twice. Generally, you want to play your commander when this is on the field last. So that way you don't have to discard a card to get your general out. When you already have no cards out in your hand, then you play your general, then you don't care about this card. Necropons. Draw a card on a stick. Does 2 things primarily. Skip your draw phase. Some people like to mess around with draw phases. Other cards will say like choose and skip one of these phases. Choose one phase, skip the rest. The last one is the worst one. Whenever you discard a card, when it hits the graveyard, exile it from the game. So it exiles when it hits the graveyard. It works well with Madness in the sense of like when you discard a card, you can cast it and it would actually go in the graveyard like normal because you're not discarding. It is not hitting the graveyard off of being discarded, it's hitting the graveyard off of being cast. So, yeah. Pay a life. It's like Phyrexian Arena on steroids. Pay a life for a card and set it aside until the end of your turn, then always come back to your hand. The only problem is if you don't have a relic or tower or anything that says you have no max hand size, you're going to have to discard down to 7. So, very powerful, very expensive draw card. Creature buffer, black creature goes +1/+1. Creature recursion, very strong. Waste not, whenever opponent discards anything, get a creature, get mana, draw a card. Pestilence, board wipe on a stick. Or life loss on a stick. Phyrexian Arena, draw a card. Sign of Halaster is... You're essentially digging for cards with this on the field, and you have a lot more flexibility on what to grab. Still, it could backfire if you have if you're milling out really good cards, because the first time you would draw a card each turn, instead of looking at the top 2 cards of your library, put one into the graveyard and the other on top of your library. Then draw a card. You're essentially getting rid of one card whenever this thing goes off. The other one goes to your hand. So card advantage and getting stuff in the graveyard. Pact Weapon. This is a very powerful weapon in the sense that I think it should have been legendary personally, but it's basically a weapon you cannot lose the game with. As long as this is attached to a creature, you don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. So equip is discard a card. Whenever equipped creature attacks, draw a card, reveal it. The creature gets +X until end of turn, and you lose X life, where X is that card's CMC, the mana value. Alright. So, Lightning Greaves, Darksteel Plate, good protection right there. Oblivion Stone is basically board wipe on a stick. Graveyard Shuffle, life gain. Demon's Horn is a lifesaver in a lot of ways. Or rather, it's a lifesaver from the sheer amount of black spells that can be played. Nightmare Lash, make a creature be super big. Could be Skithrix, it could be a zombie working with, what's her name? Gulkar Gissa, for example. Mana Reducer, non-artifact spells you cast have improvised. Indestructible Mana Rock, pay 7, possibly exile a token to harness the Soul Stone, and when at the beginning of your upkeep, you can reanimate target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Very strong. Bull Citadel, possible win condition in that very same turn. You can play a lot of things off the top of your library. You get the right stuff. You can drain everyone of their life and win. Gray Merchant's in here somewhere. Gray Merchant is a prime example of playing that off the top of your library. There's other cards that'll get your life back too, so it'll do some work. So Mana Rock, or Mana Reducer, Mana Rock. Revised, I think it's a revised Soul Ring. Very cool. I love this art. Thought Vessel, no max hand size, Mana Rock. Life Link, so gain life and pay for it to reanimate something until end of turn when you permanently lose it. Yep. Spell Redirection, not quite as good as a counter spell, but someone's going to source a Plowshare, your general, you could redirect it to another creature. Instant speed reanimation for a creature that died that same turn. Instant speed cards in your hand, and you can do it as much as you want, or as little as you want. Split second kill spell. Target creature gets -4 until end of turn. Pay 3 and bam, kill something. Pay 3, split second creature's target player controls becomes 0/2 and loses all abilities until end of turn. Generally speaking, this is very strong. It'll shut down decks, so when they're attacking, they are tapped and attacking, and you cast this, and they're now tapped and attacking 0/2s. Very powerful. Counterspell, one of the few counterspells that are actually decent in black. Pay 3 life, counter target creature spell. Slaughter Pact. Destroy target non-black creature, pay 0 mana for it. Begin your next upkeep, pay 3. If you don't, you lose the game. So, kill spell. All of the packs are very strong, but they all have those you got to pay afterwards. Cool Dark Ritual from, I'm going to say, Meridian Mask. Hatred, I got this recently and haven't used it as much as I wanted to, but it's a great combo with Skithiryx. So, pay X life. Skithiryx is 4. Think about how much you want to pay. Get them up to 11 infect damage. Excuse me, just yawned. Tutor, City of Dreams. Instant speed tutors are rare. Discard X cards, search for X cards, and put them on top of your library in any order. You can kind of see the value of that right there. I would just simply go for 2 or 3. And you could probably go more, but generally 2 or 3 is what you need for this card to work. Another tutor, Mind Tutor. Mana doubler. Creature enchantment removal. You generally want to hit enchantments more than creatures with this card. But if you need to hit a creature, go for it. Creature removal as in Ashes exiles 2 target non-artifact creatures from the game and deals 5 damage to you. This is a very fun, simple sorcery. It is the same set as Dust to Dust. You can pay 4 mana, get an extra turn unless someone cuts half their life in half. So, this is obviously better earlier on when you still have, when you know you can get away with this. If you're just simply trying to make someone lose half their life, you could probably do that too. Black Sun Zenith, reusable board wipe. Target player discard Hymn to Torok, 20th. This is from the Vault edition. Target player discards 2 cards at random. They generally hate that, but like I said, it works pretty well. All right, let's see. Decree of Pain, card draw, board wipes. Chainer's Edict. Target player sacrifice a creature with flashback, and it's from the Vault edition. Draw power and ramp. Card removal from the top of their library, very powerful, because if all they're going to get are lands, they're not going to be able to win the game. Thought Picker Witch is not. Give me a second. There's something else. Anyway, Thought Picker Witch. You have to work with this with other creatures, or basically by itself. You generally want other creatures there rather than just a one-time effort of blocking and sacrificing, activating its abilities, and then exiling one of their top 2 cards. Very strong. It is kind of brutal. It probably should be banned in 1 versus 1, but it is very strong, and yeah. It could absolutely crush an opponent. Because if you have a lot of creatures and you can keep making creatures, you can sack a lot of creatures and remove every single good card from the top of their library so that they never get another decent draw ever again. Pro Right, Pro Red, Infect, First Strike, 1 more D1 from a 2/2 here. It's a Zombie Knight on top of that. Mind Slicer, excuse me. I love this card, played it for years, and everyone hates it, and they don't want to have him end up getting killed, because then everyone has to discard. So generally people try to remove this from the game by exile effects. That's understandable. Butcher Malakir is... It's the same as a Black Enchantment. Whenever a creature of yours dies, other people... Whenever it or another creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. There's another enchantment, not Call the Grave. It's something. It does there's a very similar effect. Dictate of Erebos is one of them, but there's another one. Whenever a creature of yours dies, every opponent sacrifices a creature. Something like that. Playcrafter. Same thing as... I don't have the other one. Fleshbag Marauder. Except each player, when this enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or a planeswalker. Each player who can't discards a card. So this is better than a Fleshbag Marauder because Fleshbag Marauder only has creatures, and it doesn't mess with their hands at all. Drain and Gain for a Grain Merchant. Classic card to lose to and to win with. Viscera Seer, sack creatures to gain to scry one at a time. X amount of times if you sack a whole bunch of creatures at one time. Dark Legion Zealot. When this dies, you may draw a card and lose 1 life. So draw a card. Disciple Bolus is draw lots of cards. And Liliana Spectre, every opponent discards a card. And Crypt Goddess is a mana doubler. Pretty good stuff overall. Took forever for that deck. Black and blue were the worst.